you can early on, do a lot of inner work to destroy those limiting beliefs that are
Mm.
holding you back from becoming the person and the 2.0 version of yourself that you know you want to and can become if you just take those actionable steps that your mind is telling you you can't do. So that's the number one piece of advice. The world is not out to get you, and you can do whatever it is you want to do as long as you take care of that first. There's a really cool quote that says, "You don't have a business problem, you have a personal problem manifesting in your business." And that also applies for education. You don't have an education problem, like you're not, for example, you're failing your classes. No, you have a personal problem manifesting into your grades, and that can be a variety of different things within your life.
Welcome to this week and the second episode of the Cyber Gemrat podcast, where we dive into the stories and perspective of people shaping the world of technology. Today, we got Ryan Duong and Ellis Debracon, who are entrepreneurs behind ProductSphere, a tool and platform used to guide individuals to learn more about product management, marketing, and design. Join us today as we hear about their journey, valuable information about starting a business, entrepreneurship, and life. If you like this type of content, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. And again, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so we can start by getting to know both of y'all. And so my question is, what is y'all's personal background and what inspired you and experience that brought you to start creating ProductSphere?
Yeah. So I guess I'll start off with my story. So, my story, especially in the academic field, would have to be I come from a background of a creative entrepreneurial background. So, funny enough, actually, my first 2 years of college at San Diego State University was that I really had no clue on what I really wanted to do. The first 2 years that I really was in college, I was very dumbfounded with things I wanted to do in terms of like, oh, what I want to do career wise, how I wanted to bring value to the world, and overall just how can I bring my skills to the table. And at that time, I had no skills, right? But before that, my background was primarily within the creative industry, namely within like graphic design, videography, as well as fashion. Me myself, I still have my ongoing like e-commerce brand, which is mostly me developing fashion pieces, garments, whether that be like clothing, or it could also be like lifestyle accessories. But yeah, I would say that my background is in that industry itself, but it was up until this year when I realized that I really wanted to do something within technology, because all my life I've always been ingrained with technology. It was just something that I really had to dig deeper into myself to understand that, oh, I've always had an affinity for understanding how things work, building things, as well as understanding why technology is necessary in our lives. And that was something that I really started to push forward and understand that, I started looking into career fields, whether that be like software engineering. And I even looked into like switching my major to computer science even. But ultimately, something that landed upon my plate was actually product management. And at that time, I would say that this was last summer. I didn't think a lot of students, especially at San Diego State University, doesn't know what product management is, and probably still don't. But product management is something took that took a lot of interest in me, because I realized that as someone myself coming from a creative entrepreneurial background, I had a lot of interest, right? Not only just in engineering, it was like sales, marketing, logistics, all the things that are necessary towards developing some type of product, because obviously I had my background in running an e-commerce store. So from that point on forward, I really wanted to get into product management. And fast forward to winter break, actually was 2 weeks before winter break, I had this idea where I was like, on our school campuses, we don't have many resources for product, or not a lot of people even know what product is. But when I compare and look at other school campuses which had these resources, I was like, hey, like, why don't we try to create something that's for product students? And at the time, I didn't know who was into product or anyone was into product, and that was something that got my footing into it. And as things just progressed forward, I got my first internship in IT for a local nonprofit startup, and then from there on, like, things led to one another, and then now I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's beautiful because I've known Ryan for like a while now, and it's cool to see how like every day I can learn something new, right? About like about this team and like this friendship that we have. So it's really cool. Thanks for sharing all that, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, I'll go ahead and introduce myself, like formally introduce myself as well. But my name is Elias del Rincon, and I am a native here from San Diego. It's really cool. And similarly to Ryan's background, I come from a very heavy creative background as well. Ever since I was very little, I've been drawn to innovation, whatever it was, whether it was creating like structures with Legos or drawing, painting, or even creating YouTube videos, right? I always had a camera in my hand and video editing and like VFX and just trying to create things. So I've always had that creative builder engineering mind before I even knew that that was like a career, right? I was very little, but I was always drawn to that like internally.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to, how Ryan said, like winter break.
Yeah.
During the pandemic for me, that was when I really got introduced to what product management really was. Just kind of doing research, kind of trying to do some inner studying, inner working on myself, trying to understand what is it that I want? What is it that I want to do with my skills? Is there a career field where I can use all of my skills, being technical skills, but also creative skills and also leadership skills? I always knew that I didn't want to be just limited to one thing or another. And, slowly as you start going down rabbit holes, you start finding ideas and you start meeting people and you start reading forums and you start going into these groups. And ultimately I landed on product in general. And I realized that this was the exact career that resonated with my personality. And I think if you find that early on, then that'll launch your career success even more long term. And of course, you'll be happier and be more fulfilled. So with all of those things aligning and all of these thoughts kind of formulating, I kind of just sent it, right? I was like, yeah, I'm all for this. I'm down. And then fast forward to winter break. Like after all that, I get like this. I pretty much I get this call from Ryan. I get like a DM. We start messaging. Our ideas start to come together. He tells me this idea, and I'm like, dude, I've had this like very similar idea. You just like brought it to my attention. This is amazing. Let's do this. And instantly, it was like a spark. I don't even think we hesitated. We had a phone call one day. 2 days later, we started like building. We started going on phone calls, Zooms, and started building. So exactly now we are here today, right? And it's really cool to see like where it's going and how far we've come from just an idea to now almost a tangible product. So that's kind of my background, I guess, professional wise. Of course, I'm an information systems major. And the reason why I chose information systems is because it gave me that perfect balance between creativity, business, management, but also computer science fundamentals, right? Being able to know how to program, how to do web development, web design, learning a few backend languages, but also being able to manage people, understanding economics, understanding finance. And that's why I thought, at least for me, again, that was the perfect balance. But yeah, I landed a software engineering internship a few months ago. That was really fun. I understood how product development worked on a real world example because I realized that it's very different than, just like watching a tutorial on how to become a product manager. When you're actually doing it, it's very different, but that's when the real life comes through. And that's when like the learning and the actual grit is developed. And I fell in love with it. I was like, okay, I'm actually doing this for real now. I love it. Therefore, let's do this. And here we are now, right?
Yep.
And I guess the last thing I'll say, just I also run a very lean bootstrap marketing agency, which I'm trying to transition into a SaaS startup right now. And that's in the works. It's called Presence Growth. I started that in 2019. And right now I've been trying to come up with the right team to help me build that vision. But of course, I'm going to leave that. It's not my main priority right now, if that makes sense. But it's good to just get the reps in and meet people, which is what I live for. So yeah, I guess I just, that's like my story. That's where I'm at now. And that's how I became who I am at the moment.
Yeah. I'd like to also add that a little bit on product fear itself. I would definitely say that when I first found out about product management, it was something that I started to understand more and more increasingly, that resources really mean everything in terms of like when you go to college, go to university, when you have the resources available to you. That was something that I struggled with myself, understanding, going through all these courses in order to understand how do you properly equip yourself for a mock interview, for like certain resources to understand like, oh, what is the product mindset? said, how do you go from a lean startup like into like a fully invested startup, and then just overall understanding that and being urgent on that was something that I really want to push. And when I sent the first message into several club like group chats, like that's when I met Elias and I met so many other like-minded individuals, and that's how we got to the point that we are now. And now since then we've amazingly been able to cultivate such a great team and cultivate such great ideas that we want to push forward for students.
That's exactly. Yeah, I had one last thing to add on top of that.
Yeah.
It's like one of the main reasons why I would say we also started this club is because many people don't know that this is a career field, and a lot of people are lost. Right? There's a lot of people that have, like, I call it like your inner artist and your inner nerd, and if you can make them dance together, then that's when you create something that can spark, like that's when like the most successful founders are birthed, right? Like,
yeah,
you can make those two sides of you work together. And we noticed that was us too. We're like, okay, this is us, and trying to bring that same exact guidance and awareness to students is something that's invaluable. And I believe we are accomplishing that slowly, and we will ultimately accomplish that goal by the time this becomes what we envision it to become. So trying to really bring awareness and that mindset to students that don't even know what this is, but that we know that they have that like creative vision and entrepreneurial spirit inside of them that can make an impact. So push that.
I definitely know a good hand of students who definitely, like, they have the idea in their mind where it's like, oh, I have all these skills, whether that's like, oh, I ran my own business, I understand what marketing is, I understand how to have great sales skills, I know what engineering is, I have proficient technical background, but they don't even understand the fact that what product management is, or just in general the product career field. And that's where we want to thread the needle and be able to bring that to students and have them understand, hey, this is a real career field, and this is one that would serve you best if you have those type of criterias under your belt, and that's essentially what we're trying to do.
And like, to be honest, like, I like the analogy that you use, that even have like a little bit of nerd and like a little bit of creativity as well, because a lot of people, they don't understand the creativity that they have, and they may have like a lot of like technical skills and different backgrounds. And even if you are like, you practice skills, I don't know, if you're a cashier at a restaurant or something, right? And you know how to conduct business to people, how to communicate thoroughly, right? If you're in a high working environment, you know how to handle those high stress like environments as well. Having all those skills, can definitely help you create something like in your own mind and actually make it to a tangible object. And I'm just listening to you guys' backgrounds. Your backgrounds is pretty interesting, how y'all came from similar backgrounds, but different avenues for y'all to mesh that together. And yeah, a lot of people don't know what product management is. Like, when you guys showed me that, I didn't even know what it was at first, but I can see how useful that could be, because you can have the idea, what you want to create, but if you don't know how to do it, the steps before, then most likely it's going to be a failure. You want to know about product management, how product design, how to market it, all these different levels and fields for you to be able to actually release something where people can actually use and utilize. So
because like here's the thing though, like product management itself, right? Being able to understand how a business works, whether that be to a B2B or a SaaS company or any type of platform as a service company, being able to understand those like nitty-gritty processes of like, oh, what is it like in order to manage a team? What is it like to communicate and wear many hats, whether that be understanding what marketing needs, what sales needs, what executives need, as well as like what engineers need. That is a skill set that sets you apart with so many people, and that's something that people don't understand, right? Many people don't understand what product actually is, because it's been, I would say, like really gate-kept of a career field, especially in the past years. And recently, with more popularity coming towards the career field, we want to be a part of that. We want to be able to enunciate to people that product management is something that is open for everyone, right? It's not necessarily just for the one kid in the classroom that is secretly really good at coding, but he's in the finance like major, like we're really trying to make it so that like literally anyone, like you said, like anyone who deals with customer support. I know personally from my end, me working in IT currently in my internship for this school year, understand that being able to hear other people's perspective, being able to be empathetical is something that is super needed in product management itself in every field across product, right? And that's the thing that we want to nail on. It's not exactly, product management ourselves. A
Yeah.
lot of the people on our board are interested in going into product management, as it's probably, I would say, the most popular field out of the three that we're trying to target, but also opening the avenues for product marketing, product design, because we know equally that those career fields are just as important as product management. Like without a product designer, you won't understand what the look and feel and functionality of a product would be. If without a product marketer, how would you communicate that product towards an audience, And so for us personally, it's just about learning. And like we ourselves, we want to emphasize to people that, especially students that are interested in joining the product, we aren't just like we aren't just the person that's telling you what to do. We are learning as much as you are on the same page. And I think that's the unique factor, the X factor that we have, because it's really a process, right? It's really learning together and understanding together what this product career field really offers and how we can take advantage of that. So yeah, all in all, I would definitely say product sphere is something that's encompassing of all those things.
Yeah, he hit it like that was perfectly said. Um, it's definitely trying to bridge the gap between where a student and I'll just say person, right? Because ultimately it's not just going to be for students, it's going to be for whoever wants to join. So bridging the gap between a person's like current state and their desired outcome, and being able to uncover their hidden talents and their hidden like gems that they have that they don't even know that they have. So being able to have empathy, how he said, for them, and then help them uncover what they have, and then guide them by giving them the tools, and then partner them with companies to actually do what they want to do. So it's a bunch of different things. It's understanding. It's like walking the fine line between art and business, where I think a lot of career fields don't offer. But at the end of the day, most people, we have that innate creativity and innate analytical skills within us, because not everyone I always say like soft skills can't be taught, but technical skills can always be taught, right? Like anyone can learn how to code if you really put your time into it and you really dedicate yourself. But not everyone can learn how to be a people person, to speak in front of crowds, to manage people. So it's trying to tap into those outliers, people that feel lost, but that really have potential to become who they want to become. And of course, he said it perfectly. We want to emphasize to everyone listening, we don't have every single answer, but whoever would like to join on this idea, you're building this with us. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. It's we can build this company, this club together, holding hands and creating something bigger than ourselves that can impact, the world perhaps. So that's kind of what it is. It's being able to make those two sides of you dance, right? Like creativity, analytical, and technical.
Yeah.
And I like that because, like, first off, you guys are number one. A good thing that you guys are doing that I like to see is you guys is providing value. Providing value is one of the biggest things. If you can give value to the world, and that's the exchange of that's how life goes. It's the exchange of value and energy. If you can exchange good value, you're gonna have good value come back, good karma. I like the intent that you guys are having behind it, and it seems like you guys have a really good team behind you guys that is like each person have a skill that to a lot of great companies, it's not just from one guy's vision, but it's a collective of visions coming together to create a nice product. And your team right now is you have a really good collective of different visions, different backgrounds, different experiences that is coming to create products for you right now. And again, it's the value that you guys are bringing. And you said it's not just for college students, for anybody that can tap in. It could be somebody that's been like in their career field for 30 years and they're like, hey, I want to change careers. I want to create something that I truly enjoy. And you guys having that platform for them to be able to tap into that and connect them with businesses as well. That's really going to be useful. Yeah. That's a game changer to a lot of people that they may not recognize how useful this could be. Like,
Mhm. I would like to also add that initially when I onboarded all my board directors, whether that's Elias and all six others of everyone else, like I really wanted to emphasize, and this is something that I still emphasize to this day, which is, I'm not here, like this is not solely something that I started, right? Or you started. This is a collective effort that everyone is responsible for. Having everyone on board to understand that this is a project that we make it as much as effort that we put in. So I think letting people to flourish in their own way because everyone works differently is something that I really predicate the values and culture behind Product Sphere to be, and being able to facilitate conversations that brings out the best in everyone is something that I really want everyone in Product Sphere to understand that. And like I said, it's really when we go towards our development of our startup and our current club at the current moment, like being able to tell people that you have a measurable impact if you're willing to put in the effort, and being able to work together with everyone is something that is really important.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think it's extremely important. And like too, I thought this was really cool. So Peter Thiel says that like the definition of a startup is the largest group of people you can convince to create a better future.
Mhm.
And I believe in like the law of like resonance, which is like, and the law of reciprocity, right? It's like everything is a mirror.
Mhm.
So if you're genuinely working on yourself, whether it's doing anything, right? You're looking out for yourself in every area of your life, whether it's like your finances, your physical health, your wisdom, your knowledge, your intellect. If you're genuinely putting in that work in every single area of your life, then you're going to receive and you're going to meet the right people that are on that same like wavelength that are going to help you bring that idea to life. Not so you don't always necessarily have to like when we started, we had no idea how we were going to do anything, right?
Mhm.
But it starts with having just the will, and because of that, I believe God brings to the people to create that idea to life. And then one thing he mentioned is yes, like we like to give all of our team members like the full creative freedom to do whatever they know that they can do. Not really micromanaging, not really managing, like do this or do that, or we need this done, like really, really strict. Understanding and having empathy for everybody on the team to do what they're good at, right? It's like if you're good at design, then just focus on design. And
Mhm.
if you want to tap into like whatever it is, like the production of the app, then go ahead and do that. Or if you're good at like the production of the app, then go ahead and do that. If you're good at talking to people, go reach out to people, right? It's doing what you're naturally good at and then coming back to the team and helping us build everything else if that's what you want to do as well. So
Yeah, like I know that like a lot of people on our team come from so many different backgrounds. Like we have people who worked on like the operational side of like business. Yeah, there's people who are engineers, there's people who come from like entrepreneurial background, like all these values, all these ideas is something that really comes together very well for product management. And that's something that we want to also emphasize for Product Sphere itself. And like you said earlier, like having people, not necessarily just students, come to our platform and our brand is something that we want to emphasize. And it's that e-learning these days is absolutely king, right? Understanding that people can learn things not necessarily having to be enrolled into a university per se, and being able to have those tangible skills through something that you can learn through a screen is something that we really want to nail on and be able to say that education is the future and that we want to be a part of it, especially for product management, as ambiguous of a field that it is.
that's
and I feel
exactly.
like with product management and design and marketing, yeah, like a lot of this could be taught. If you can like nail that, like e-learning, because it is the most easiest. Like another thing when it comes to if you're having a product or you're trying to, create something to give access to people, you wanted to have the least kind of barriers, right? So if
Yeah.
someone got to drive to a location or something
Yeah.
where they gotta no be at this certain time, it's going to take too much time. But if they can learn it on their own time or having the structure from their phone or on their computer, it makes it way easier. You want the least boundaries
Mhm.
for your user, and
Yeah.
I like how you guys are trying to nail that as well.
Yeah, like for me, right? When I first learned about product management, this is not a course that's being taught at SDSU. This is not something that's explicitly like became like, okay, you're gonna come to class and learn these skills. You have to go out on your own time in order to learn these things and be able to put your whole effort and everything into it, right? So I know that making it easier for students to learn that and not go through such barriers just to access resources is something that we want to make sure that students in product sphere get, and anyone outside of the college campus is able to get as well.
I got a question.
Mhm.
Why do you guys like why is product management and marketing, like why is it so gatekept? Like what do you think is the reason for that?
So product management itself is a very like ambiguous role, meaning that a lot of product management will look different at many different levels, right? So whether you're working for a business or you're working for yourself, product management might mean, oh, it could be you're coding, you're looking at you're doing technical analysis, or it could mean that, oh, you're owning up the marketing side of things. There's many definitions that come into product management, and it really varies depending on the company that you're working for or your own company. And the reason why it's so ambiguous is because in recent times, a lot of people think that product management is something that, oh, it's a role that you get into as you mature in the industry. So the common theme that a lot of product managers go through is, oh, they're a software engineer first, or they're or a person who's like a tech consultant, and then they go into product management. But in recent times, this has been changing because people are redefining what product management actually is. Like even the big companies like Google, Meta, all these companies, Microsoft, like they have APM programs, which are associate product management programs, and they're making it more accessible for students who may not have those type of roles, right? So, for example, like Meta, their APM program very highly notorious. A lot of their alumni actually go on to develop companies like such as like Venmo or any other like big startup. And what they really emphasize is you don't have to necessarily have a background in computer science like the traditional sense. And we understand that it's been ambiguous that way, but we know that the culture is changing. We know that the theme is changing in the tech industry because people are starting to understand that product management looks different, and it's not necessarily if you have technical experience or you have this and that XYZ skills that you're going to reach this role later on in your career, right? It's something that you can do now as a student if you prepare yourself for the product mindset, for the product philosophy, as well as like the product development side.
See, oh, you got it.
Oh yeah, no worries. That's exactly right what he said. And just to add on to that, I feel like there's two other reasons as to why it's quote unquote gate kept, right? Like one would be the lack of awareness that it is. So it could be a sense of like not necessarily using the word gate kept, but like just there's no awareness that it's even a career choice, right? That's number one. Number two, it would be a collective of imposter syndrome passed down by the years people in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly how Ryan said. A lot of people think that to break into these product roles, you need to have decades of experience as an engineer or as a business analyst or as somebody that already works within a company that understands the ins and outs of the processes and systems and products they're building. So I think all of these conversations that people have been having, and these, in my opinion, these distorted ideas as to how to break into the industry have caused people to not even attempt at trying to break into the field, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I just want to add on, like, you would want people to be able to have access to this information, right? Because if you give people access to product management, product design, product marketing, there'll be more innovation, right? That's what I would assume. You're giving people the tools and resources to be able to be creative and innovative. So I like to see that there's a change that's like, headed towards, allowing these tools and resources to be available to everyone, because innovation is good. The more innovation that we have in the world, the more problems that it will solve that people may need. And so that's why, looking at what you guys are creating and the design aspect, you're giving the tools and that you're opening the door for innovation. more innovation that's going to resolve a lot of problems that people may have in the world. Because, you guys may have this product you may have somebody that goes under product sphere. They think of something creative that they didn't know. They knew what they wanted, but they didn't know how to apply it. And having these tools and resources, it's like, you don't know. You guys might, this might create something that can change millions of lives. You just don't know just for having this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel like that's the ultimate goal, right? It's to like, as well as for ourselves and like as we're learning and helping other people learn as well. It's like how you said, like these APM programs, they created like the next like crazy successful founders, right? Like Venmo and stuff.
Yeah.
And if we can be the reason why people end up building the next Tesla or whatever, that would be absolutely amazing, right? And I think that's where we have to really not be afraid to dream really big and just go after every single opportunity and have every conversation that we're willing to have. But I think one of the unique factors that I see in most successful companies and something that we're trying to implement within Product Sphere, it's since the beginning, it's not asking the question, what's the most amount of money I can make from this? But asking the question, what's the most valuable company that people are not willing to build and why? And then just doing that. It's what's the most amount of value we can offer to the market, and that's it. The rest will be taken care of, right? And I think if companies start with that principle, it'll bring the correct talent, number one, but it'll also it'll leave room for innovation, how you said.
Yeah.
People to just think for themselves based on the tools that we give them to end up where they want to be.
And do you guys have any mentors? Anybody that you guys look up to and talk to that, help you guide through this process that you guys are creating?
Yeah. So actually a lot of the advice that we actually get in like the form and structure of how Product Sphere goes is actually from a lot of the mentors that I have. Personally, I have a lot of the mentors that I do have, they are alumni at SDSU. And if you look into just like the alumni repertoire, like everyone who's in that went to SDSU, it turns out that a lot of people who are in entrepreneurship or people who are into like private equity, growth equity, venture capital itself, like a lot of these people come from a product management background, and a lot of people don't know that at all because it's something that is very nuanced, right? It's something that not a lot of people understand yet. But I would definitely say that the mentors that I look up to that I currently have right now is definitely Jessica Octavio, who is now APM at Capital One. She has an amazing story about how she went from microbiology to now becoming APM at Capital One, and just like her hearing about her story and what she did in her undergraduate years in order to run her I think it was like a health application for patients in order to track their health records and whatnot. And hearing what she was able to do in her undergrad was something that really motivated me and really instilled a lot of confidence in me in order to launch Product Sphere and have everyone come on board to help me work on it with me. So I would definitely say her. And I have another mentor by the name of Ryan Sladich, who used to work at LPL as a product manager, a principal product manager. So he really gave me a lot of advice on, how should I run Product Sphere? How should I formulate the way that I go about my organization, or like how I should go about communication with the board members, and just overall, how can I scale, So I would definitely say those two are definitely shaped up a lot of my philosophy towards going towards Product Sphere. But of course, outside of that, like big names, like of course there's always going to be like the Steve Jobs, the Mark Zuckerberg.
That would have been like everybody.
I mean, that's a no-brainer, So like, but like I would like to mention those two specifically as the biggest motivators for me.
No, definitely. So yeah, I like the way you approach that. You gave us actual, tangible, real mentors that you speak to on a daily basis, which is really cool. And I guess I have a few that come to mind for that. One would be, her name's Ana Reyes. She is like an AVP at LPL Financial, the technology sector. She's an amazing woman, amazing leader. She's definitely changed my perspective on the way you want to approach creativity and innovation and the way you want to approach the job market in general, which is very cool. That's number one. Number two is this man named Lazaro, and he's like a principal engineer in Northrop Grumman. And of course, he works with PMs, and every time I talk to him, he gives me all this information and this tangible knowledge that I can use, and like that I can call him up at any time and he'll help me out. But nonetheless, I would say that number one is not limiting yourself to just the people around you. I think the best mentor we have is the internet, and with a few Google searches, you can
Absolutely.
be taught a lesson by like the smartest man in a certain niche, right?
Mhm.
Because he's creating content. For example, one like awesome like entrepreneur that I'm learning from right now, and I say I'm learning from him, like if I know him, which I don't know him, but it's Peter Thiel, and like just reading his books, right? Reading books, listening to podcasts, meeting people in discords, and just trying to reach out and trying to gather information from all sorts of channels. I think that's the best way to go about it. It's not limiting yourself to just one source of information. And with the
Absolutely.
internet now, we like the possibilities are endless. It's just a matter of like wanting to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. I 100% stand behind that, because it's like, you can have the mentors that guide you towards the right direction, and that is very helpful in itself. But ultimately, everything resides on yourself, right? Being able to be self-sufficient in the ways that you're able to obtain certain information and knowledge and be able to apply that to your own career, right? So I would definitely say that above all, like mentors, like I thank all my mentors for everything that they've taught me and instilled within me. But at the end of the day, it will always be you as your ultimate mentor, because you can only feed yourself the information that you want to hear, and things that you may not want to hear, but it's something that you need to hear, right? So
That's so good, Ryan. That's amazing. I was just thinking about this like the other day, and it was like it all comes back to like self accountability, and
absolutely.
like Naval says that like life is a single player game. But I mean, what he means by that is like I can't change your eating habits for you. Same with a mentor. They
Yeah.
can't do the work for you. For example, I can guide you, or somebody can guide you and
Yeah.
give you guidelines as to what to eat and what to do. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to you to going through that hard, rigorous process of deconstructing those bad habits to replace them with new ones. And that's the same thing. You can have all this information and all of these meetings with people, but if you don't act and implement on them with the correct strategies, you're not going to get anywhere. So again, it's everything is a balance of it's like a yin yang, right?
Yeah.
Of
It is.
knowledge and work and creativity and analytical and meeting people and doing the work yourself. And it's a beautiful balance. I that I always like recognize and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And like it's just feeding off what you guys are saying, like your mentors can give you, and your network, they can give you all the knowledge in the world, but you just gotta apply it. And accountability, self-accountability is one of the biggest things. Some people don't have the accountability, or you might say, you might procrastinate, say, another day, might not be might not be today. But you gotta do it. Like you gotta start from somewhere, and people expect overnight success, or they may think again that there's not enough resources in the world, and not everybody, not I can't be an entrepreneur. There's already too many entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But that's not true, man. You have to have a growth mindset and apply everything that people tell you, the lessons that you learn in life, the mistakes that you have made in life. You have to learn about all these things and apply it to make yourself better, and
Sure.
keep on growing every day. You can't stop. You can't think that just because one mistake, or you're procrastinating, now that I procrastinated too long, now I can't start now. Like
Yeah.
you gotta start from somewhere, and you gotta do
All
it.
brain
And
fog. It's all brain fog. And it's something that you can definitely, unless you hold accountability for yourself, you'll never be able to see those changes that you wish.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But yeah, I don't know. I would definitely say that Project Sphere itself, going back to that, is a core philosophy for us, and we definitely want to encourage that factor, because Project Sphere predicates a lot on connections and having mentors and whatnot. But then also we want to encourage our people to, take accountability for themselves. Like these meetings and stuff, we aren't like, as much as we push it forward for them, it's ultimately on their own plate in order to take advantage of these resources, because as much as we can't hold their hand in terms of like, oh, you got to come to this meeting, do this, but we will emphasize how important meetings are, how important some of these information that they're taking in is going to be for their career. And I think that's something that will definitely going forward stick with.
Yeah, it comes back to free will, right? You have the will to do whatever you want with the
Mhm.
time you have, with the resources you have.
Yeah.
Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. And as long as we understand that and we really want something, then like you'll get to where you want to be. And if there's a clear path, which we would like to provide for students, a clear path with actionable steps where they know exactly what to do every day, what to work on every day, and where they're going to be. It's unreasonable for them not to achieve what they want to achieve. So,
Yeah, and like, you gotta use your time efficiently. Like,
yeah,
some people, for example,
gotta
if
use
you're,
advantage, bro.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that's true.
Yeah, like it's all about like seriously, it's about using your time efficiently. Like if you, for example, if you're trying to make a website, right? You can code it from scratch and you might not be the best programmer, or you can use a template or you can use orders to buy, pay somebody to do it. And like, just gotta use your time efficiently and know like what is most important at what time. And so I do have another question to
Yeah.
add on about it. And so, you guys are college students right now, and
Mhm.
you guys are trying to, start up this organization and start this business. How do you guys manage all your time? Because we got 24 hours a day. How do you manage it?
Bro, to be honest, that is a question that I question myself every single day.
I feel
Like
that.
it's always learning, you know. Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie to everyone and tell them, every single day is like a perfect day. I'm
Yeah.
managing 24 hours out of 24 hours. Like I'm a college student, I'm growing. I have things that I need to work on as well, and I understand those weaknesses. But I would definitely say that like understanding your time block under like what Elias mentioned earlier, being able to understand what are things that are urgent and critical to you and how do you want to go about working on those things. I know like for me understanding recently deep work and as well as like cross-referencing from that and Pomodoro and understanding the applications of how these things go into my day-to-day process. How can I also juggle these things on top of all my other endeavors, because like me myself, I still have my, I guess you can say like side passion project of that e-commerce like clothing business, and that's something that takes my mind off of a lot of things and makes me stay mentally afloat. So I think sticking to the things that really bring you a lot of like balance and happiness is something that is really important, but also understanding that keeping that balance as well as keeping that efficiency, that you might go into those hobbies, you might say that you enjoy, but then not letting that overtake the fact that I have stuff to do. I have to provide, I have to remind myself of the mission that I'm on, and what I really want to truly get out of life. But I would definitely say, going back to how I would juggle things, yeah, it's really about trial and error, just really about how can I use my time more efficiently, using time as a variable going forward towards almost every aspect of your life, right? Like I know eventually down the road, people are going to have family, they're going to have school, work, like stuff in that nature. So definitely say, know your priorities, be able to know your time blocks as well as understand what you truly love and what you truly want out of life.
Yeah, it's exactly right. I
Mhm.
think like besides all the tactical strategies and tools that we use, or I'll speak for myself, right? I can only
Yeah.
advocate for myself. Google Calendar, right? It's like being able to put everything in there and
Nice.
time blocking everything on a paper and doing like a brain dump and doing all these things like the night before, writing a to-do list the night before what I have to do, making them on certain levels, like based on priority. But besides all of that stuff that helps me guide my time every day, I think it really fundamentally, I think for every single person, it comes down to whether or not you're doing the things that you are genuinely passionate about and that you genuinely want to that you wake up every morning and you're like, this is what I want to work towards. Because if you're, for example, like the definition of procrastination, right? It's all it is like you're procrastinating because your body's telling you this is not something you want to do.
Mhm.
That's all it is. You don't want to do it, so you're like, but you feel forced to do it, and that way you're gonna take the longest to do it because you don't want to feel that friction within your brain and your mind. So I believe that like every single person, if they're building or working towards something that they truly like and they love and they have a real why behind it, it doesn't matter what they have going on, they're gonna make time to do
Mhm.
it. And I think that's the ultimate driving factor with us with everything that we have to do, right? The way we've decided to sort of build our lives at the moment with these certain opportunities and certain like things and events that we want to do, and people we're talking to, like this interview is something that we really wanted. When you told us to do it, it's like, dude, of course. Doesn't matter what's in the way. It doesn't matter if I had plans with my friends. It's like, no, this is way more important because this is building my future.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like that fundamental like principle is what will create the time when you feel like you don't even have time to do things.
Yeah. And I would definitely also say that, like productivity is a big like conversation to be had across like every single person, and I would definitely urge, especially like the viewers who are maybe watching in right now, to definitely take a look into Vantage, as a productivity tool. Definitely, I would definitely say that Vantage would be a great opportunity for people to time block better, for people to understand how they can understand what needs to be prioritized and what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Shop Vantage.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Yeah, Vantage is something, that's coming into the works right now. Slowly developing it right now, building the team behind myself to try like actually, work efficiently and, make well of the time. So it's not more of a trying to have all these moving parts everywhere, trying to organize things in a way where we have that clear cut plan, where we're going to go, what is our market, who are we trying to promote it to, and how are we going to be of value to others. And, just having the mesh, between even product sphere, Vantage, all these different solutions, because that's what what we're creating are solutions.
Yeah,
We're creating solutions for people. People don't understand. People may not know what they need, but creating these solutions for people that I don't know. I didn't know that I need to manage like how much time that I'm spending on YouTube for like, for like, because I do it myself sometimes. Like I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube, and I spend time on it, and like it happens. And so like, but once you like monitor that and you understand, and then using understanding the way that if you can use your time well, and then have the vision with product sphere, understanding, we're creating entrepreneurs, we're creating creative minds, and we're creating the platform, the solutions, so we can have more innovation in the world. Innovation will literally, like, I believe that with the innovation that we can create, we can change lives, we could save lives. We don't know like what we could create with these products because we're giving people the platform that they may not know they have. They may not know that they have these creativity in their minds, this technical skills, and just sharing that to people, man. It's really important, especially who we are right now. We're college students, really trying to learn and grow, make ourselves better every day, and surround ourselves around like-minded people like that.
100%, bro. And that's why we're all in this podcast right now talking to each other about it, because we do understand the value that ourselves, especially at a school, having close-minded individuals together, is one that we're able to facilitate innovation, like you said.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing. I actually had a question for you when it comes to building your product. Like, what was it that well, this is a very generic question. Like, what was it that inspired you? But even I have a different question than that. It would be, and it's more like a detailed question. I noticed that you're using AI, right? With the AI revolution happening now, I'm very happy to see that you're taking advantage of that form of leverage because, of course, it's so early right now. You don't know where this could take us. Right? It's like the very early stages of Bitcoin. That's kind of like the way I see it. Right now, AI is worth 63 cents when it comes to Bitcoin. That's how early it is. And you saw how much it rose within a few years. So how are you using AI to like create this product that you're building? I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, so the way that I'm going to use it, because all right, so OpenAI API is like released for people, open source.
Yep.
So we have all these different APIs that I can pull from. And I use, I mentioned to you before, Ryan, about indie hackers and product hunt. And I study the game. I study the game, what people are creating. And I'm
That's
like,
what it is.
yeah, that's all it is studying the game. What are people creating? And so I'd study the game, see what people are creating. Somebody made like a bot for Twitter, like is making the best content post for Twitter and stuff. And so with Vantage, I'm going to try my vision is to use OpenAI or any API that's maybe open source that's similar to GPT-3 or GPT-4 that just came out, which is
Yeah.
crazy. But pretty much I want to create all this data that you're pulling in. So I'm spending YouTube, you're spending hours on YouTube and Twitch, but you have a vision if you want to start up a SaaS or something like that.
Yeah.
It could potentially create like a report of like, a spreadsheet of a vision for you to, implement that vision. Like if I want to start a SaaS about, I don't know, what's a random SaaS, you want to start like
Yeah.
a software as a service,
Yeah.
and it generates your productivity to create something how you can manage your time. So it's like a management time. So like
Yeah.
you're setting these type of times because Apple have an implementation say, hey, you spent 11 hours on your phone, but
Hmm.
what's the solution to that?
Yeah.
What is your
Oh,
solution
that's
to that?
bad.
So it's like I want to be able to create that solution where you know how much time you're spending, but how you can find a solution to emphasize your time, make it more efficient than just
Brilliant.
saying spent 12 hours on YouTube.
Mm.
But what do you do after seeing that? Like,
Yeah, and time is the
yeah,
most valuable asset too. So that's like one of the biggest, like the biggest epidemics that we're facing with now, social media addiction, right?
yeah.
Most of us are addicted, and we don't, and most of us don't even want to accept it, or we don't even know it. That's how deep we're into it. So I think you're building something very, very good. I have another question. It's how far deep are you into the production of the development of this product? Is it almost ready to launch? Is it like still an MVP? Like what phase are you in?
So we're still in the beginning process because originally, and the same time you guys started your product,
Mhm.
I was starting something before. It was like
Nice.
a claim management system. So it was a claim management for health insurance. And, you
Wow.
know, at the time I was like, I was going through with it. I made the business plan and all, but I was like, how can I promote this? At the time, I didn't know what I was doing. I just started
Yeah.
off. And so I scraped that idea. I still have all the business plans, which is something, eventually I'm gonna come back to, but it was something
Yeah.
at the time, like I didn't know how I could promote this, how can I design it. And I'm taking a software engineering course right now at State. And so I'm learning how to develop a software because
Yeah.
right now I'm a solo, like I'm a
Yeah.
solo. So like the design of the UI, the creating the tech stack and creating the database and everything behind Vantage. Like right now I'm just doing this like all from scratch and trying to make my time more efficient. And that's why like me creating this tool is like I will be able to make my time more efficient. I'll use my time more wisely creating a tool like this. And so, yeah, I'm still in the beginning process. I designed the UI and I use Figma for my designing for the UI.
Yeah.
I use DB diagrams for for the database and stuff, understanding how my database will work, and just studying on YouTube,
Mhm.
Google, all these different resources, Indie Hacker, Product Hunt.
Yeah.
There's another called Micro Acquisition or something like that, where you see
Yeah.
these other SaaS that they sell their product, and just studying the game right now and just trying to see what I can do to create a solution for people.
It's
But
it's absolutely impressive the fact that you're able to do all these things because running a business or running any type of like venture is definitely very hard. But having you sitting in the back end, really understanding every single logistic like process is really incredible. And I would definitely say like keep going, man. Like I know what it's like, like when you gotta give up something in order to, maybe I'll go back to it later. But putting your whole heart into Vantage is something that's really honorable. And I
Yeah.
honestly very inspired by that.
thank you.
Definitely, and I think that's gonna give you an upper hand later down the line when you're
Oh
hiring,
yeah,
right?
100%.
Because like there's this thing that also Naval explains, and he says if you can't program it, then you don't really understand it.
Yeah. And
So
honestly, it's like being able to like, yeah, explain it efficiently as well. And one thing that I want to get better at, which is, I'm learning and, studying is I know the technical aspect, but how to build a brand and
Yeah.
building a brand of, you have it, but what is a product if people don't know about it, right? And,
yeah,
Yeah.
same how you guys are doing it as well. It's like, I love the route that you guys are taking because you're creating your organization, you're creating the club, and you're reaching out to people, and so now people is going to understand what is Product Sphere before even launch it, and so
Mhm.
you're building your base, you're building your community, and having a strong community before you release a product, you'll be way better off than just releasing something without
Yeah.
many people knowing about it. And so I
Yeah.
like the route that you guys are taking, and
Thank you.
that's why I appreciate the exchange of ideas for everybody and like building each other in a way where we can all grow and learn from each other. It is awesome to see.
Definitely. I'll keep this short, but as I mentioned like earlier, I run a marketing agency, right? That helps businesses gain more traction and build brands. So you have that creative side, and I have this marketing side. I'm willing to work with you like for free. I don't care, like because I really like the vision that you're having. And the really funny thing is, what I think it's like divine appointment is because I'm rebranding the agency into a growth partnership company, not really an agency, that helps SaaS startups scale. So I think it's absolutely perfect, and I think we can. I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and then just see where we can take and come up with a plan, come up with strategies to see how we can scale your product once it's launching.
For sure, man. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, this I appreciate that, man. I'll actually appreciate that. And yeah,
Definitely.
we definitely can really all of us, your team, building my team, all of us, we can really definitely change change the world in a good way. We can really
Yeah.
change lives. And I feel like if we definitely with our young minds, our creative minds, and our entrepreneurial minds, our technical sides, our soft skills, all these skills that we have as a collective, a collective mind, we can really create something. We can change the game where we're impacting lives. I think that's us having that focal point of where we're impacting people in a good way. I think it comes with a good intent, come with a good heart, and you know, I like seeing it, man. I like seeing it.
It
That's
is.
amazing.
This
Yeah. It's a blessing.
this
It's a
is
blessing to be.
conducted. Yeah.
That's awesome. Man.
So I'm gonna end it with this question, okay? And so, what advice would you give to some college students that are interested
Like Freeman
in
style,
starting?
huh?
Yeah.
Like Freeman style.
The golden question.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
What advice would I give to other college students interested in product management? Or is that just product management or just
Like
like in
Any
entrepreneurship,
advice?
right?
okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Well, the one piece of advice that I would definitely want to pass on to other people, especially those who might be in a situation similar to mine earlier this year, which was not knowing the direction of where they wanted to go, feeling that it might be too late, feeling that, maybe it might not work out, and like going to college, I'm scared that I might not bring enough value from my college degree. And it's really to know that patience is key and understanding that it's never too late. And I think that is the biggest key advice that I've really held for myself because genuinely looking like before I used to be someone who was very like jealous of other people. I used to look at, like, oh wow, these students are doing such great things and I'm not doing half as much, but understanding yourself and overall what value you bring to the world, as well as understanding that, everyone's rate of progression will always be different. And when you go on like, especially like social media, like a lot of people tend to have that fish-eyed like lens where it's like, I'm so fixated on what people are doing and not necessarily themselves. And the rule that I try to live by is that it's never too late, right? Myself, I had nothing coming into this junior year of university. I literally came in with no hard skills, no technical, no background at all. And it really just took one foot in front of another every single day consistently, whether that be in trying to take up a new skill or just like putting your name out there. It's something that really truly helped me. And when I first got my internship as an IT, it was something that blew me away because it was like what I really wanted to put into fruition really worked out because I was able to put faith in myself. And I know there's going to be a lot of students who may be listening to this podcast, even that, they might not have anything. They might not right now. They're just like sitting around, just looking for the answer of like, when is my name going to be called? Or like, when is this going to happen? But it's not necessarily about matter of when, but when that opportunity is going to come to you, but when you're willing to put the best effort forward in order to change that situation and circumstance. So yeah, I think that's the biggest advice that I would definitely say. But more so in product management itself is just for students who already are applying to product management roles or people who are trying to get into the industry. Your network is your net worth. So do as much as you possibly can to put your name out there. Continue to like, despite all odds, just keep going, keep talking to people, keep asking, cold referrals. If you look into my LinkedIn inbox right now, you will see that the requests that I have is over like 1,000, and out of those 1,000, I would confidently say that 10 of those people really shaped me up to be in the position that I am now and be able to obtain the internship that I have coming up this summer. And overall, that principle is held the same for any other student who's going into any industry. So I'll definitely say keep sending those applications, but be intentful with it, right?
Yeah.
Be able to not just put in your application, but also do things such as like improve your resume, tailor your resume, talk to recruiters, try to push your application forward. Just do everything you possibly can. As long as you are passionate about it and you're able to put your whole heart and willing to go the extra measure, then that's all that really matters at the end of the day. So yeah, that is basically what my advice would be.
That is so well said.
Thank you.
So true as well. Wow, that was so good. Yeah, so I'll touch on a few things. What he said was absolutely perfect. So he pretty much covered everything that I was going to say, which is amazing. But two things I'd like to touch on. One is the specific question was, what advice would you have for college students, right? So with my limited knowledge and with where I'm currently at, because I don't have all the answers, but what I've seen work for me these past 5 years of college is, as well as Ryan, coming into college freshman year, sophomore year, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had a very brief idea of what I liked, and I was very creative. I like marketing, I like design, I like drawing, I like talking to people.
Same.
And now I'm in a completely unique spot where I'm like programming and also talking to people. And I'm in a spot where I never thought I would have been in, right? With opportunities I would have never imagined I could have had, meeting amazing people that I never thought I would have been able to meet. And I think the number one piece of advice for people that feel the same way is, number one, is understanding that the world is not out to get you. So really trying to, if you can early on, do a lot of inner work to destroy those limiting beliefs that are holding you back from becoming the person and the 2.0 version of yourself that you want to and can become if you just take those actionable steps that your mind is telling you you can't do. So that's the number one piece of advice. The world is not out to get you, and you can do whatever it is you want to do as long as you take care of that first. There's a really cool quote that says, you don't have a business problem, you have a personal problem manifesting in your business. And that also applies for education. You don't have an education problem, like you're not, for example, you're failing your classes. No, you have a personal problem manifesting into your grades. And that can be a variety of different things within your life. So really working on yourself in every area of your life to better yourself. Definitely do that. Number two, it would be to try as many things as possible, right? Orion said, like, everything changed for him within like less than a year. Everything changed for him for the better. Why? Because he was trying a bunch of things. He wasn't scared of failing. That's number two. Like the second thing is, don't be afraid to fail. If anything, embrace failure. Failure doesn't even exist. It's just another try. Failure does not exist. And if you can really believe that, and it's something that I've been working on as well, it's like understanding that failure is not even a real thing. It's fake evidence appearing real. So that's kind of the way I abbreviate it, right? Fake evidence appearing real. And if I fail at something, great, I can just take notes and go back, and as long as I'm alive, then I can keep working on that thing that I failed on. Try a bunch of different things. I wish I would have done that in the beginning of my first 2 years of college, but for some reasons I was a little afraid. So try a bunch of different things, and I guarantee you that you're gonna find that thing that you truly love and you're passionate about. And being afraid to adapt to change and to meet people, right? Put yourself out there, go get what you want, because no one's gonna do it for you. But also understand that there's people all around campus, all around the world, that are rooting for every single one of you and us on this podcast as well. the world wants to give you what you. Yeah, there's another quote. It's like you don't get what you want, you get what you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the effort that you put in, that's what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of hiding and sitting down and like the way I see it is like the world needs what you have to offer. That thing that you're afraid to create, that thing that you're afraid to produce, that only you have, that idea, the world needs it. So it's a little selfish for you not to work and build that thing because people need what you can offer.
Absolutely.
So when I understood that principle, that's when everything started changing for me. And I'm not where I want to be. Of course, like there's always room for growth, but that's when like the fire started. It's like, dude, wow, I am beautifully and wonderfully made. I have beautiful ideas that the world needs. It's selfish for me to keep it to myself. The world needs this, right? So it's like, what would have happened if Steve Jobs never created Apple? We would have never had like amazing products to even build ProductSphere, right? Or stuff like that. So it's like, you never know. Try things. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and just go. Even if you fail, just go.
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of fire some people right now. right now.
Hopefully, man.
Y'all gonna have some people ready to go right now. I'm like,
hey, man. How it is, bro. Yeah, I continuously always try to inspire. That's what you put on the world to do. Well, at least that's what I feel like my mission is. So
yeah, man.
Always try to go for it.
Yeah. I honestly appreciate that all that advice. Somebody gonna listen to this. Many people gonna listen to this and they be like, "Dang, like I can actually do it." And again, words that words and like the way that you speak, the energy that you give out, through this screen, right? It's gonna resonate with somebody. Somebody gonna watch this and they gonna, you don't know that those words that you guys just said may start the next Tesla, like he said. It may start the next Facebook.
Hopefully, man.
Let's go. That would be amazing. Yes.
It could happen right now just for saying that. And, I appreciate you guys for coming and, sharing this knowledge about your personal background and what you guys are creating, because personally, I really believe this is special, what you guys are making. And I'm rooting for y'all. I know everybody that's watching this is rooting for y'all. And again, what you said, the world is rooting for y'all. So continue to keep on designing, creating, and bringing value. A lot of people are just supporting y'all, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited for what you guys are creating.
Likewise, man, especially with Vantage and stuff. I know that we are the people on campus, and there are definitely a handful of other students on campus who are trying to create their idea and put their idea into fruition. And like, I salute to everyone who's putting their best effort forward, because that's something that's not easy, And so like, even when I see things on like LinkedIn, when I see other students at SDSU who are working on their own craft, whether that be for their own personal development or just overall, like what type of venture they're trying to help out and bring value to the world from, that is something that I wholeheartedly stand behind. And I just want every viewer who's watching this right now to understand that, everyone is here, like we are here to support you, and always like, it's super inspiring, and never give up on what you're trying to do, because you never know what it could possibly be. It could be the part of your wildest dreams that your creation might influence millions of others people, so definitely in that mark as well.
That's exactly right. Again, like to end with this, you never know what your life could turn out to be.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely didn't expect to even build this club/startup until we just tried things. And number two is you ultimately create your own luck.
Mm-hmm.
By
100%.
just trying and trying and trying things, and eventually opportunities start coming because people start resonating with the person that you are becoming. They start seeing and taking you serious. So if you take yourself serious, and again, I'm only like 23 years old. Like I may sound like I know all these things, right?
Yeah.
No, like I don't want to come off as that. This is genuinely what I've seen work for me and what I've been taught by people that I've been listening to that are far more successful than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Try things, and you're going to create your own luck. And then that's when the moment's going to come, and it'll be when people say, oh, like finally it's my turn. And then you go.
See, like I forgot to mention this, and I'll say this real quick because you mentioned it, but like I hear, and this is advice for college students in general. I know that there's certain college students who will really have this mindset of like, oh, everything is luck based, which has its merits. But like Elias said, just because it is luck based or something might be luck based, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should give up on your side of things and how much effort you're willing to output. You can always increase your amount of luck, increase the chances that you might be chosen for something, increase the chances that you will succeed in ways in that nature. So I would definitely like end it off on that and say that, you create your own luck, you definitely push your own accord, and you are the person who is solely responsible for things that are happening to you.
That's right.
I want to add one thing too as well to that is like again building that brand as well, like building a personal brand. There person I last interviewed, Emily Zakat, she been building her brand, and it opens the doors. You said this as well. Your network is your net worth. And so the more that you build your brand and let people know this is what you do, and like, identify as this is what we are building. This is what we are. This is what we do. And people going to see you as that. And that's what you're going to receive. And so build your brand. Anybody that's listening, build your brand. Don't just sit back and wait and like say, hey, you expect these opportunities to come to you. You got to go get it. You gotta go get it. It's not
like approaching it don't ask the question don't ask the question how can I sit at the seats that are like, how can I sit at the tables that are worthy of my time, or how can I sit at seats that I'm not deserving of sitting at? How can I enter rooms that I'm like, you know what I'm trying to get at? Like, how can I enter the rooms where I'm not supposed to be in? Instead, it's like, just ask the question, how can I provide so much value to the point where I just get invited?
People can't deny you,
Yeah,
get invited. Can't deny you. You gotta be undeniable, man. That's
and again, it's easier to get in, but it's much harder to stay in, right? Long term. That applies to like almost anything from what I've seen, at least. Is can you really like last all the time and you
gotta work hard, man. You gotta stay at it. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, bro. I feel like we can talk for hours though. This is amazing. I appreciate you even on here.
Absolutely appreciate the time, Kobe. This has been a transformative experience for me because understanding multitudes of perspectives is something that I really want to increasingly do more and more.
I appreciate you guys for coming, man. You guys really share some value for people to like learn from, and I'm really excited for what you guys are creating. And this was an invaluable experience for me, and I'm glad to have you guys as my guests. And I'm rooting for you guys.
Yeah, bro. I look forward to part 2 sometime in the future.
Yeah, sure. That would be perfect.
That'd be perfect.
In person, that'd be dope, man.
That would be cool.
In person, you're gonna have you're gonna see like the big changes of what we have, man. And that'd be
cool. Definitely. Next time we come back, I expect both of us to be elevated in our own respect. So
yes, sir. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right, guys. So thank you guys for coming, and all right.
Cool.
Thank you guys.
Feel free to reach out to any of us on our social medias or whatever. Again, we're here to help. Let's build a big network of entrepreneurs and of like the next innovators. Feel free to hit us all up on wherever you can find us. That'd be cool.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Later, bro.